Parayana
Sudurlabha
Sudurlabha
Prashantatma
Prashantatma
Kotishu
Kotishu
Api Mahamune
Mahamune
Muktanam Api Siddhanam
Muktanam Api Siddhanam
Narayana Parayana
Narayana Parayana
Sudurlabha Prashantatma
Sudurlabha Prashantatma
Kotishvapi Mahamune
Kotishvapi Mahamune
Muktanam Api Siddhanam
Muktanam Api Siddhanam
Narayana Parayana
Narayana Parayana
Sudurlabha Prashantatma
Sudurlabha Prashantatma
Kotishvapi Mahamune
Kotishvapi Mahamune
Muktanam api siddhanam
Muktanam Api Siddhanam
Narayana Parayana Sulabha Prashantatma
Kotishvapi Mahamune Muktanam Api Siddhanam Narayana Parayana Sudurlabha Prashantatma Kotishvapi Mahamune
Kotishvapi Mahamune
Muktanam api siddhanam
Muktanam Api Siddhanam
Narayana Parayana
Narayana Parayana
Sudurlabha Prashantatma
Sudurlabha Prashantatma
Kotishvapi Mahamune
Kotishvapi Mahamune
Muktanam api siddhanam
Muktanam Api Siddhanam
Narayana Parayana
Narayana Parayana
Sudurlabha Prashantatma
Sudurlabha Prashantatma
Kotishvapi Mahamune
Kotishvapi Mahamune
Muktanam api siddhanam
Muktanam Api Siddhanam
Narayana Parayana
Narayana Parayana
Sudurlabha Prashantatma
Sudurlabha Prashantatma
Kotishvapi Mahamune
Kotishvapi Mahamune
Muktanam api siddhanam
Muktanam Api Siddhanam Narayana Parayana
Sudurlabha Prashantatma
Sudurlabha Prashantatma
Kotishvapi Mahamune
Kotishvapi Mahamune
Muktanam
Muktanam
of those who are liberated
of those who are liberated
during this life
during this life
who are unattached to the bodily comforts of society,
who are unattached to the bodily comforts of society,
friendship and love.
friendship and love,
Api,
Api,
even Siddhanam,
Siddhanam,
who are perfect
more perfect,
because they understand the insignificance of bodily comfort.
because they understand the insignificance of bodily comfort.
Narayana Parayana,
Narayana Parayana,
a person who has concluded that Narayan is the supreme.
the person who's concluded that Narayan is the supreme,
Sudurlabha,
Sudurlabha,
very rarely found.
very rarely found,
Prashantatma,
Prashanta,
Prashanta, fully pacified.
fully pacified,
Atma,
Atma,
whose mind,
whose mind,
Kotishu,
Kotishu,
out of millions and millions and trillions.
out of millions and millions and trillions,
Api,
Api,
even
even
Mahamune,
Mahamune,
great sage.
great saints.
Translation. O great sage, among many millions who are liberated and perfect in knowledge of liberation, one may be a devotee of Lord Narayan or Krishna. Such devotees who are fully peaceful are extremely rare. Repeat that. O great sage,
O great sage,
among many millions
Among many millions
who are liberated liberated and perfect in knowledge of liberation.
Who are liberated, perfect in knowledge and liberation.
One may be a devotee of Lord Narayan.
One may be a devotee of Lord Narayan
Or Krishna.
or Krishna.
Such devotees
Such
are
devotees
fully peaceful,
are fully peaceful
extremely rare.
and extremely rare.
Purport by His Divine Grace, SB.6.14.5 Swami Prabhupada.
Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives the following purport to this verse. Simply desiring mukti or liberation is insufficient. One must become factually liberated. When one understands the futility of the materialistic way of life, one becomes advanced in knowledge. Therefore, he situates himself in the vanaprastha order, unattached to family, wife, and children. One should then further progress to the platform of sannyas, the actual renounced order, never to fall again and be afflicted by materialistic life. Even though one desires to be liberated, this does not mean he is liberated. Only rarely is someone liberated. Indeed, although many men take sannyas to become liberated, because of their imperfections, they again become attached to women, material activities, social welfare work, and so on. Gyanis, yogis, and karmis, devoid of devotional service, are called offenders. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Mayavadi Krishna Aparadi. One who thinks that everything is Maya, instead of thinking that everything is Krishna, is called an aparadi, an offender. Although the Mayavadi impersonalists are offenders at the lotus feet of the Lord, they may nonetheless be counted among the siddhas, those who have realized the self. They may be considered nearer to spiritual perfection because they at least have realized what spiritual life is. If such a person becomes a Narayana Parayana, a devotee of Lord Narayan, he is better than a Jivan Mukta, one who is liberated and or perfect. This requires higher intelligence. There are two kinds of Gyanis. One is inclined to devotional service, and the other to impersonal realization. Impersonalists generally undergo great endeavor for no tangible benefit, and therefore it is said that they are husking paddy that has no grain. Stula Tusha Vagatina. The other class of Gyanis, whose Jnana is mixed with Bhakti, are also of two kinds. Those who are devoted to the so-called false form of this personality of Godhead, and those who understand the personality of Godhead. And Satchit Ananda Vigraha, Brahma Samhita 5.1, actual spiritual form. The Mayavadi devotees worship Narayan or Vishnu with the idea that he's accepted a form of Maya and that the ultimate truth is actually impersonal. The pure devotee, however, never thinks that Vishnu has accepted a body of Maya. Instead, he knows perfectly well that the original absolute truth is the Supreme Person. Such a devotee is actually situated in knowledge. He never merges in the Brahman effulgence, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.2.31. Ye nye ravandaksha vimuktimaninas tvayasta bhavad abhishuddha buddhaya aruya krishchena parampadam tata patant yado nadrita yushmad angraya. I'm going to repeat that one, everybody. Ye nye ravandaksha vimuktimaninas Tvayasta bhava vishuddha buddhaya Arura Krishna param padam pada Yatant yado madrita yushmad angraya O Lord, the intelligence of those who think themselves liberated, but who have no devotion is impure. Even though they rise to the highest point of liberation by dint of severe penances and austerities, they are sure to fall down again into the material existence, for they do not take shelter of your lotus feet. Evidence of this same point is given in the Bhagavad Gita 9:11, wherein the Lord says, Avajananti mamuda manusim tanam ashrita param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature and my supreme dominion over all that be. When rascals, mudas, see that Krishna acts exactly like a human being, they deride the transcendental form of the Lord because they do not know the Parambhava, his transcendental form and activity. Such persons are further described in the Bhagavad Gita 9:12 as follows. Mogasha moga karmano moga jnana vichetasa raksasima sarim shaiva prakriti mohinim stritaha. Those who are thus bewildered are attracted by demoniac and atheistic Jews. In that deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, their fruitive activities, and their culture of knowledge are all defeated. Such persons do not know that Krishna's body is not material. There is no distinction between Krishna's body and his soul. But because less intelligent men see Krishna as a human being, they deride him. They cannot imagine how a person like Krishna could be the origin of everything. Govindamadi Prusham Tamaham Bhajami. Such persons are described as mogasha, baffled in their hopes. Whatever they desire for the future will be baffled. Even if they apparently engage in devotional service, they are described as mogashaha, because they ultimately desire to merge into the Brahman effulgence. Those who aspire to be elevated to the heavenly planets by devotional service will also be frustrated because this is not the result of devotional service. However, they are also given a chance to engage in devotional service and be purified, as stated in the 1.2.17 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Shinvata Swakata Krishna. Repeat. Punya Shravana Kirtana. Vidyantak Sto Yabidrani. Vidunoti Suritsatam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul, in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who relishes his messages, which are in themselves virtuous and properly heard and chanted. Unless the dirt within the core of one's heart is cleansed away, one cannot become a pure devotee. Therefore, the word sudurlabha, very rarely found, is used in this verse, not only among hundreds and thousands, but among millions of perfectly liberated souls. A pure devotee is hardly ever found. Therefore, the words kotishvapi are used herein. Madhvacharya, Srila Madhvacharya gives the following quotations from the Tantra Bhagavad. Nava katyas devanam rishaya sapta kotaya narayanaya nayanaha sarve ye kechit tat parayanaha. There are 90 million demigods and 70 million sages who are all called Narayana, devotees of Lord Narayanana, devotees of Lord Narayan. Among them, only a few are called Narayana Parayana. Narayanayana Deva Rishyadhyas tu Parayanaha Brahmadya Kechanaiva Shu Siddho Yoga Sukham Labham. The difference between the Siddhas and the Narayana Parayanas is that direct devotees are called Narayana Parayanas, whereas those who perform various types of mystic yoga are called Muddha, or Siddha. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chaksurmilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Astapitam Yena Bhutale Mayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sajajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Sahita Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitam Cha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shri Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarane Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namane Madhu Jojala Premaja Shri Rupa Nuga Bhaktida Shri Gora Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostate Namo Gaur Kishoraya Satchit Vairagya Murtaye Vipralamba Rasambode Padambu Jayate Namaha. Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namane Shri Gora Karuna Shakti Rupanuga Varayate Gaurave Bhumescha Nirdesta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Jagannathaya Te Namaha. Namo Mahavadhanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Gora Tvishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripuri Krishna Tvadiya Padapankaja Panjarantam Adhyaiva Me Visatu Manasaraja Hansam Prana Pranama Samaye Kapavata Pittai Kantavaro Dhanavido Smaranam Kutaste. Yeah, Prabhupada would translate that one as, let me die now. His secretary sometimes said he would just recite that very often. But let the swan of my mind be absorbed, in Krishna, where I can still chant before I get too old and nothing works. Not that it's a death wish, but I'd like to die in good consciousness. So thank you for being here. By regular attendance in the classes of Srimad Bhagavatam, all that is inauspicious in the heart is purified. Be patient and keep keeping this medicine. And thank you for giving a chance to speak is a great privilege. Saw yesterday so much kirtan, and Rath Yatra, so much kirtan. So very fortunate to have so many people with Namaruchi, Harinam Ruchi. Still a few of them are here, right? That's what Sachinanda Maharaj was saying yesterday, Bhakti Vinod was, protect me by giving me a taste for the holy name. And Bhakti Vinod said, when will that Kabe Habe Bolo Sedi Namar Aparada Gucci Shudanami Ruchi, when the offenses are ceasing, the taste for the holy name increasing. Goes together. If we chant more, we get rid of offenses, and if we can eliminate offenses, we get a taste. This is a very long purport. I was reading yesterday, I was trying to look up that incident in Amsterdam when Jagannath was installed, and how nothing was ready, and Prabhupada got really angry. He said he got really angry, and he didn't care that television, newspaper, everyone was there. He still was shouting, but then he said, "Oh, go ahead anyway." He said, "Where are the flowers in the temple presence?" "Oh, I forgot." It's like, but he installed the deities, and then he became a little happy. But the other thing was in Amsterdam, when the Hare Krishna mantra record was really popular all over the world, the little recording that they made in London. So the devotees were getting invited to television shows and playing in bars and nightclubs and all kinds of things and getting paid for it. So they had invited them to come to Amsterdam for some television show, and Prabhupada was there at that time, so he went. They said they were surprised that the Swami was there. They were happy. And they just wanted the devotees to chant for a few minutes, not really chant, to pretend to chant while they played the record. And then they said, "Swamiji can speak for 2 minutes." And Prabhupada, when the devotees were thinking maybe you shouldn't go, he said, "No, I can speak the whole philosophy in 2 minutes." So after the kirtan, and they made smoke like from dry ice, and it said that the devotees were there, but they got completely covered by the smoke, but not Prabhupada. So that was transcendental. So then they said, "Now you can speak." So this is the whole philosophy. I don't think it's even 2 minutes. We have been chanting this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. This is the transcendental sound vibration, non-different from the Lord. The Lord's name and his form are the same. Please chant this sublime sound, and your life will become perfect. You will become happy, and you will realize your true nature, that you are an eternal servant of God, Krishna. This process is called Bhakti Yoga, and we request everyone to take to this chanting. Thank you very much. But he can also explain the whole philosophy in thousands of purports, thousands of lectures. It can, it's originally Om, then there's 4 verses of the Bhagavatam that the 4 verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam that were spoken by Krishna to Brahma, and Brahma spoke so many verses more to Narada, and told Narada to preach it all over. He spoke to so many people in so many different ways, sometimes very mystical allegories, sometimes very direct things, and including Vyasadeva. Bhagavatam existed, but Vyasadeva put it all together for what we get of it. And then we've had so many commentaries by so many acharyas, and those are also all Bhagavatam. And the whole Bhagavatam is in the first verse, and then the rest is to explain the first verse. The first verse is very difficult. And when we first got the Japanese translation, one of the book distributors, she said, "This is too hard. Nobody can read this. Nobody can understand this." And I told her, just read like 50 verses before you decide, you know. And she never said anything more. But I told her that I've been reading the first verse for, so many years, and still it's confusing. Because it's everything. And the holy name is everything. And we want to get a taste. So Narayana Parayana, that's a word that's very often in the Bhagavatam. It's used. The self-surrendered devotee, never afraid of any place or any person, not even of death. Nothing is important as the Supreme Lord. He doesn't care for heaven or hell. Heaven is considered hell also for devotees. So this interesting here how it's stressing about, lack of comfort or something. Because we saw, like some years ago especially, when all those new apartments were booming in Vrindavan, every signboard was luxury. Luxury apartment, luxury clothes, luxury everything. But Vrindavan is supposed to be tapovana. It's supposed to be no luxury. But we must think, Prabhupada, when the temple opened, the Vrindavan guest house was the most luxurious place. Maybe some people had houses, but those merchants that are now millionaires, they weren't so rich then either, And that was considered like the heavenly planets. I remember one devotee said, "Where are the Swamis? Well, they're up there in the heavenly planets." But after a while, it became like, what, this place is a dump, Now they fix it up quite a bit, but they're making more and more expensive, more luxurious. But then people will come to Vrindavan, and somehow there's benefit, because if they come to Vrindavan, they will visit ISKCON, and they will get books, probably. At least they'll see the books. They will definitely hear kirtan, and that's what everybody needs. We have to be preaching everywhere. Success means you get a lot of imitations. So we can't be too busy smashing all the imitations, and we don't even want to mention their names, but we want to propagate the real thing, to give Prabhupada's books more and more profusely to everybody, and spread the holy name. We heard a little bit about the holy name. I was talking to that couple from Argentina that just go around doing Harinam. They were in one town somewhere, and some guy had his iPad and he filmed them, and then he showed them. He was in charge of the news, telling everybody what's going on in his town. Something like 2 million followers. So he put that up, and in a few minutes there were 50,000 people or something. And another one in Ukraine, it was somebody that I don't know who it was, but he put it up, and that film got up to like 2 million views. So we have no idea what the effect is, how big this effect is of just the little Harinam parties. They might not look like too much, but it's very big. Like we said yesterday, when I saw all those people, like I was looking around during the kirtan and the Rath Yatra, and I was thinking, well, there's not so many people around here, I couldn't see on the footpath, and everything was closed. And then I looked up there and saw like thousands of people, like, we should have stopped, But this is how it works. And nowadays, by Krishna's mercy, everyone else can share it, some people can share to one or two people, some people maybe many thousands. So they just keep it up and keep showing everybody the books. This is like a super purport. Prabhupada is really covering everything. What is the difference between a devotee and a so-called liberated person? The Mayavadi, they may realize they're not the body, like Buddhists. But they generally think they're the mind. But they can give up gross sense gratification, bodily sense gratification. But they play around in their mind and are speculating about everything. So just wanting mukti or liberation, there's that incident with Lord Chaitanya when after Sarvabhauma became devotional. He quoted one verse from the Bhagavatam that ends with mukti pade sadaya bhak, right? And he changed it to bhakti pade. So Lord Chaitanya said, you can't change the Bhagavatam. He said, no, but I can't tolerate to hear the word mukti anymore, because he had become, Vaishnava. So he didn't want to say that word mukti. But then Lord Chaitanya explained that in this verse, mukti means bhakti. Real mukti is bhakti. Otherwise, one is not really liberated because he's still wanting something. So when one understands the futility of materialistic way of life, then he becomes advanced in knowledge. So that, to really understand that, of course, then one will just give up all efforts to enjoy. But Maya is so clever that no matter how much we get smashed and we can't enjoy, she convinces us that next time you can enjoy. The next pair of shoes you buy will be comfortable and your back will never hurt again, right? So the shoe shops are everywhere and they have new models every day and prices go up and up. So this is, and everything like that. The next time you try it, now you know, and now next time you can enjoy. Finally, if by great special mercy, Krishna, sends a guru, sends a devotee to wake us up and let us know that there is actually some real pleasure. So one may give it up, may become some kind of vanaprastha, or some kind of renunciate, but that kind of mukti is not permanent, because the soul needs something. We need engagement. So Prabhupada stresses, but there's gyanis, yogis, and karmis that don't have devotional service are actually aparadhis, you see. So if you think everything is Maya, that's a Mayavadi. Everything is false, nothing is real, including Krishna. That Krishna takes a material body. All the Mayavadis have that same song. That it's not really Krishna speaking. When he says, give it to me, me, I think he says aham. Someone sent me that I was mentioned in class that we should research, and somebody sent me, he just had AI check it out, and said there's 472 times Krishna says aham or something. A few hundred he says may or my. So, but the Mayavadis, even though they read Bhagavad Gita, that Krishna uses his mystic power and they don't see him, he's invisible. He's right there, but they can't see him. They see something, but they think it's like a hologram or it's just an illusion, and something else, which is nothing, is actually speaking. They're just, the scientists have the same idea, there's nothing. One big scientist, his latest theory was originally there's nothing, but gravity pulled something out from nothing. And he's supposed to be a big scientist. if there's nothing, how can there be something inside of nothing, hiding? And then where is gravity coming from? That's Prabhupada's question. They can't see it. So Mayavadis may be considered siddhas, they may be considered, because they've given up the bodily comforts of life. Sometimes they're very, very austere. That actually becomes another type of sense gratification. So much austerity. But a Narayana Prayana is better than even a Jivan Mukta. So some Gyanis are looking for devotional service. So hopefully we have devotional service, all of you. So we ask for blessings from devotees all the time. We want association of devotees. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. Lava Matra, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. That we want to be with devotees, not only one lava, but all the time. But any one moment of association is valuable. It starts something, So devotees are anxious to give association. Any devotee can benedict anybody. If people just see a devotee, even they don't know. Somebody was saying, well, like putting tilak. The scripture says that anyone can become liberated just by seeing tilak. And somebody said, well, that's true in India where people know what tilak is, but it doesn't count in other places. But it does, because I remember nobody ever pays any attention to tilak anymore, but when I was first a devotee, we went door to door, and some people would see and they just slam the door and scream, because the demons, it reminds them of Krishna, and they get scared. Other people, what's that, look, they like it. And the other people would say, what, did a bird drop on you or something? But now nobody pays any, for many years, it's just normal now. Compared to the crazy punks and everything, it's, we look pretty conservative. But we want people to remember Krishna somehow or other. How we do it, that everyone probably has their own genius. If somebody can make people think of Krishna by whatever way, that's great. Otherwise, impersonalists, they can't get any benefit. It's like husking paddy. For most of us, I guess that doesn't make much sense because we never... But if you've ever seen in the field when the rice, they take it and then they beat it, and then the rice comes out from the... But if it's already done, no matter how much you beat it, you're not going to get any more rice out of it. They call it like beating a dead horse. It's not going to get up, It's not going to get up and work anymore. So they're just wasting their time. So we believe that Krishna is the supreme form, Satchidananda Vigraha, not just eternity, knowledge, and bliss, but form. The form is, and the most beautiful form. Narayan is great, but Vishnu is more beautiful. He's the source. He has qualities that are beyond Narayan. But the qualities that Krishna has, the four extra ones, his beauty, his associates, his flute playing, that to common people that may not sound like God, God is supposed to be all powerful. So like Indra, Brahma, they knew Narayan form. And when they couldn't calculate how this little boy who was eating with both hands and joking, eating out of the friend's hands and everything could be the Supreme Lord. But then Brahma realized, and he said, called Krishna his father. And Krishna said, how can you be my father? He said, no, you are Narayan, you're the source of everything. He could understand that. So the body of Krishna is not like our body. Our body is Maya. It's temporary, gross. We're in the body, and we're somehow making it exhibit life symptoms. The body's actually never alive. It's just exhibiting symptoms of life by the energy of the soul being inside of it. But Krishna in the body, there's no difference. In the spiritual world, there's no difference between the soul and the body. We're not embodied. So that's Krishna. His body is, transcendental. It has no... But he can act just like a human being. It says, so masked. He's masked. So this verse that's here, that Yeyan Ravandaksha Vimuktimanana, people think they're liberated. Prabhupada in one place, he says that they're hovering on the mental platform. You heard that? Like a helicopter, So the helicopter's up there, but it can't stay forever. It can go up there and then it can tell you there's a traffic jam this way, you should go that way, and it's above, but it can't stay up there, it's hovering. And it's kind of dangerous, helicopters, they can be knocked out of the sky quite easily. But so they're hovering on the mental platform, they're just thinking they're liberated. They're just imagining all these different things, but they're not really liberated. Until one is actually serving Krishna, who's the Muktinath, he's the Lord of all Mukti, then we can be really liberated, really free from. So the fools think, that Krishna has. And the Mayavadis say, Krishna says, fools deride me when I descend in the human form. And the Mayavadis say that the fools are the ones that think Krishna is the real thing. That it's really Krishna speaking, and the intelligent people know that it's not Krishna, it's something else. Although Krishna is saying, only by, my devotional service, there's no other way, and says it so many times. But because he acts like a human being, especially the childhood pastimes, which are the most attractive and the most dear to the devotees, to them they just think, he's crying, or even the devotees, they criticize, like Narottam Das Thakur, when he was very old and he was ill and he was just lying down and he was singing his songs of lamentation, Jaya Nilo Premadana and songs like that. And the Mayavadis, the Smarta Brahmanas, they were saying, just see, they told his disciples, just see your guru, he's so offensive because he's a Sudra by birth, but he's initiating Brahmanas. And just look now, he's dying, and he's just thinking of his friends. And he's not thinking of Brahman, and he's wasted his life. And then they prayed. He was on the funeral pyre already, up on top of the wood. And his disciples begged him, please. And he sat up and he started preaching. And then these criticizers, they surrendered. So they criticize like that. They don't understand. Just even that Ramachandra Puri, he criticized his own guru, Madhavendra Puri. So why are you thinking of some place in the material world, Mathura? Why aren't you thinking, you should be thinking of Brahma? And he was crying, my life is wasted, I haven't achieved Mathura, I haven't got to Krishna, I haven't become a real devotee at Brijbasi yet. But this fool had, even though he was initiated, he became so degraded by Mayavadi association or something. And Madhavendra Puri told him, you get out of my sight. If I see you at the time of death, it'd be hopeless. I won't have a chance. So he got the mercy of being chastised. I don't think he liked it. Devotees like it, somehow or other, to be chastised. the disciples of Bhakti, Prabhupada said that his guru would chastise very heavily and everybody liked it. Sometimes it's not so easy to take, but Lord Chaitanya, he got mad at one devotee and because he was associating with Mayavadis, said, you can never have my association again. And Advaitacharya was thinking why he got such big mercy. I only got beat up. He didn't ban me from his association. Why don't you be merciful to me? It's very hard to understand these things. So if those are bewildered, mogasha moga karmano, moga jnana vichetasaha, everything is hopeless. Thinking that, that Krishna's not spiritual, thinking that whatever it is they're thinking. It's very hard that Mayavadi philosophy it's so pointless. That's how they can just go on debating forever, because they don't have any real conclusion. And if you defeat any conclusion that they have, they say, well, that's not what I really meant. That's not what I said. So therefore, I'm still right, and you're wrong. And so devotees like Sanatan and Rupa, they didn't want to argue with somebody like that. They want to just chant Hare Krishna. So some people are doing devotional service just to go to heavenly planets. Prabhupada once said, probably my disciples, they want to go to the heavenly planets. They want to enjoy. They want to make this world a nice place. Want to get luxury flat in Vrindavan with all amenities, but you can't be comfortable. These bodies, we live long enough, they just keep falling apart more and more until we finally realize I don't want to be here anymore. You cannot enjoy. So simply hearing and chanting by itself is punya and is virtuous. Shrindata swakata Krishna. The knots in the heart are destroyed by the sword of knowledge. One day Prabhupada is talking on another verse that mentions this. You have to cut through the knots. He said, and the sword is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's the sword of knowledge. And kirtan. Kirtan is especially good because we get caught up in the waves and everyone else chanting. Prabhupada stressed, he was in Amsterdam another time, the same time probably, but they had a big speech in the park. In Amsterdam, I don't know anymore, but at that time, hippies from all over the world went to Amsterdam because drugs were legal there. You could get whatever drug you want. Government will support drug addicts. So the park was full of these hippies, all really intoxicated. Prabhupada started speaking, and then he just said, these people are useless, kirtan. Just give them kirtan and prasadam. He said that even in Hyderabad on the farm. Don't preach any philosophy. They won't understand. And that's true for almost everybody. That's why we do Harinam, we do Rath Yatra festivals. It engages everybody, and everybody hears the holy name. And philosophy, we have books, and if people are a little interested, they get a book. And they can hear the philosophy in a little bit submissive way. So, pure devotee is very, very rare, even amongst those who are liberated. So we're very fortunate to be with devotees, and we should, take advantage of the association and the kirtans. There are 90 million demigods and 70 million sages. And they're all devotees of Narayan, but they're not Narayana Parayana. Only the Vaishnavas are Narayana Parayana. So let's be Krishna Parayana. Krishna's in the heart of everyone. For devotees, it's Krishna in the heart, not Vishnu. But Narayan is another function of Krishna. Maharaj was mentioning that Alalanath deity yesterday. Who had been there? Anybody? I saw a few men. You should go there. If you go to Puri, it's not 15 kilometers. And it's in the countryside, temple, there's nothing around there, small temple. And at the time of Bhakti Siddhanta, the temple was very run down. So he brought workers to build it up. And the workers wanted to smoke cigarettes, and he rolled the cigarettes for them so they wouldn't waste time. They could get the job done. So that, you wonder why Lord Chaitanya is so much ecstatic about it's a four-armed Narayan deity. Anybody know? You know the Leela, when Krishna left the Rasa dance, and the gopis were looking for him, then he took the disguise, the four arms. So that deity is that. That's why Lord Chaitanya, he ran to it, because it was during the time of Jagannath was not in the temple before Rath Yatra. He couldn't tolerate to go in the temple without Lord Jagannath, so he ran. He went to Alanath. He was in so much ecstasy that the stone melted. And there's many footprints of Krishna around Vrindavan, melted stone. There's somewhere Balaram's mukut fell off and melted the stone. Radharani's chadar or something, So mystic power. When Krishna plays his flute, the stone melts. Rivers flow backwards, birds fall out of the sky bewildered, and Gandharvas can't concentrate anymore. The music is so amazing. So that's what kirtan is all about. So thank everybody for so much kirtan yesterday and dancing. Dancing again is, Lord Chaitanya's dancing has attracted everybody and bewildered everybody. Nityananda's dancing also. Whenever Nityananda dances, Lord Chaitanya comes. So stop. Thank you very much. If you have any comments or questions, very happy to be here in Germany after many years. See the potential. And it's nice to see so many people that are not Indian. It's difficult to say that because sometimes Indian people think you're not against Indian at all, but it's just what are we doing that we're only getting Indians in some temples, right? So we want everybody. So we have to make effort. We want everybody. We don't discriminate, man, woman, Indian. They're all Vaishnavas, but still everybody has to have their association with like-minded and similar types of people. It's just the way it goes, right? I'm always happy, I heard one guy saying he's from America, so when you're in America, you don't think anything, if you meet an American, but if you're traveling, you're from New York and you're in California and you meet somebody from New York, oh, you're from New York, And then if you're overseas and you meet another American, oh yeah, it's nice to meet you. So you're a devotee, because we were happy to meet devotees anywhere and everywhere. We don't care where they, what kind of body covering they have. But still, it's nice to see that all kinds of people are coming. Because Krishna, Prabhupada, in the first program in Africa that was in Kenya, all Indians, and Prabhupada, there's a lot of people, and Prabhupada just called Brahmananda and said, where's the Africans? Oh. Haven't worked on them yet. A little more difficult, But then now there's many of those also. Many of everything. And many all over the universe, even a dog sometimes, Prabhupada said. Even a child, even a dog can join the kirtan. Anyone can chant. Okay, so anyone? Yes.
Question. Maharaj, you said that there were 90 million demigods and
What?
90 million demigods.
That's what it says in this purport.
Yes, and they are all devotees, you said, but they are not Vaishnavas.
They're devoted. They're Vaishnavas, but they're not. They're not fully surrendered. They're Narayanayana, not Narayana Parayana. They worship Vishnu,
Yeah.
but they're not fully surrendered. Like Indra, they get perks, the demigods. They do very difficult, important service within the material universe. And that service is for Krishna to keep, because he needs the material universe for his pastimes. But they get sense gratification for it.
But if you are a devotee and you still have these qualities, are you then really a Vaishnava yet?
Repeat that.
If you are a devotee at that stage and have these qualities that you just described, are you considered to be a Vaishnava then?
Yeah.
Because a Vaishnava has also certain qualities.
But there's different definitions of a Vaishnava. Who knows what Lord Chaitanya, what was the devotees from Kalinagram? Was it them? So the first time, what did they say? What did he say?
Chanting just once.
Yeah. Anyone who chanted Hare Krishna even once. Then the next year, anyway, it went up a little bit. So everything, there's different levels, Like Prabhupada said, everyone in our movement is a pure devotee. But, I don't know if all of us see everyone. But, some people have the idea of a pure devotee is only like Narada Muni or something. And if you can't be like him, or like some say for a woman, they have to be on the level of Jhanavi Mata. We would ask, well, what about the men? Do we have to be on the level of Rupa Goswami? No, that's different. But we're not going to be on that level, but still we can be devotees. Pure devotee means not motivated, not trying to get something for the service, not trying to get some material reciprocation. Ultimately, even spiritual reciprocation, just want to serve. Even if nobody recognizes your service, and nobody praises you. But of course people will, Krishna will recognize. Yeah.
How do we know if we're affected by Mayavadi philosophy while performing devotional service?
I don't know. I guess if you just get, I don't want to serve Krishna, I don't know. But we're affected by it because, we're surrounded by it and brought up in it without knowing, ever hearing of what it is, but it's just all pervasive, But we shouldn't have to worry about it too much, just chant more. Just keep hearing the Bhagavatam, because whatever that is there is going to get purified out. Nastaprayeshu abhadreshu, all the dirty things will get purified out just by constantly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Nityam literally means all the time, but Prabhupada translated, the classes in the Bhagavatam. Even every day can be considered all the time. So we're chanting every day, a fixed number, so it's accepted as always chanting. but try to do more and more. Try to be fully engaged. You're very lucky if you're going on Harinam all the time. So you're planning for it, thinking about it, resting afterwards, become quite absorbed. This is their real business, singing and tanzen. This Wagenfest, KAVICANDRA always said this Wagenfest, and I remember when the speeches came, Sachinanand Swami would always say singing and tanzen. But now we find, people, if we're just chanting, they hang around. As soon as we start to talk, they all leave. So Prabhupada said that many times. Just kirtan and prasad. And then, people that are interested, they'll come to you. And you give them books, and, they come to the temple. But we have to go out. Here's another one, another man in London said, if this is the absolute truth, how come there's so many people in London, but not so many people come here? Prabhupada said, when you're selling diamonds, you don't expect many customers. If you're giving out glass, the fools will come. We have a very precious thing, this movement, Krishna conscious movement. Don't expect that all the foolish people will take to it. Some citizen souls have come, so please take it. But he was happy when many people came to Conway Hall. A few hundred people were chanting and dancing. Okay? You have any idea how you know if you're affected by Mayavadi?
I was just thinking because even the Mayavadis seem to do the same thing as us, chanting, deity worship.
Some Mayavadi.
Yeah. They seem to do the same thing.
Sahajas do the same thing.
Yeah.
Mayavadis, some of them worship deities, some of them chant, but they're trying to become God. And then they give it up. But many don't. Many Mayavadis are totally against, that's why they, Prakasananda Saraswati, he said to Lord Chaitanya, why are you associating with these babuka, these fools, sentimental fools, just singing and dancing? You're a sannyasi, you should be studying Vedanta, should be sitting without moving, 15 hours a day and just reciting slokas. So but some Mayavadis, they do worship deities thinking they'll become God, or they chant the mantra thinking, I'm chanting my own name, So I don't think we get affected by that, but that's why sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. Especially sahajas, they chant, they get ecstatic, they roll on the ground. I don't know what they're thinking either, but they think it's cheap. Then you can do sinful activity and it's all right because you're chanting. So they become very happy. It's very dangerous. Anyone else? Yeah.
I just wanted, you were saying about the diamonds. In an interview, there was a person who said to Srila Prabhupada, if this is such a great movement, then why are there so less people attracted? And Prabhupada said, what I found so wonderful is, there are many stars in the sky, millions of stars, but there's only one moon, and it beats all the stars, all the rascal stars, he said. So that made it such a, I found it a wonderful comparison also, next to the diamond comparison what Prabhupada made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, we want more and more. We want everybody.
Yeah.
But we don't, there's so much people that, even in America, it was in the 70s, There's some survey company, I can't remember the name, they do surveys about everything. So they did, what is your religion? And, you know, it had Christian, maybe Jewish, I don't know if it had even Muslim in those days. And then it had other, you fill in. And according to their survey, they said there were 500,000 Hare Krishnas in America. Because people just put down, you know, like whatever reason, Hare Krishna is my religion. And they, out of, you know, however many thousand that they calculate, they make a calculation. But as far as we knew, Prabhupada always said 10,000 in the world, you know, fully surrendered. But people that think, yeah, I like, you know, I'm Hare Krishna. Some famous, you know, entertainers and stuff, they'll say that. But they don't practice anything, but they just like it. But we need to, you know, spread more and more. The ISKCON Desire Tree, I was there some years ago, in 2019, and at that time they have so many videos. They were getting downloaded 500,000 minutes of video every day. You know, people are downloading from YouTube, you know, they are on many different things, and they had just received an award from YouTube that they had 100,000 subscribers or something. But actually, by that time that they got the award, there was a plaque. They had 250,000. Now it must be like a few million, you know. And especially kirtans, you know, so many people listen to kirtans. And they're also listening to these other Mayavadis and Sahajyas and whatever they are, imitations. But, you know, if you ever go on YouTube, on the side it says you might like this, you know. And they said half of their subscribers come from that. They're listening to some other guru, but then on the side it says Hare Krishna Kirtan or something. They check that out and then they like it. And it's spreading they have followers, you know, that I think it's Back to Godhead, they have that, you know, live. They have people in countries and places you never heard of, you know, that are devotees. Somehow all by themselves somewhere. And they just connect, you know, nowadays it's very easy to connect with anybody all over the world. So keep praying and tell everybody chant Hare Krishna wherever you go and whoever you meet. Yade deke tare deke Krishna upadesh. So I'm going to Slovakia today. Still trying to get to Israel. They're still having their big Harinam on Friday. They had another. Oh, there weren't very many people out on the beach, but they're out. Some people are out there still going. But devotees are more determined than ever. You know, the danger and fear brings people together, you know, gets united. That's why the government are always telling people there's an enemy and they're going to be attacked, and, you know, try to ignore like Iran, they just constantly talk about how bad America is or Israel, but you talk to the devotees in Iran and find out what it's like to live there. You know, they want to distract their people that you got to worry about the enemies. You know, that's a political ploy. But there's devotees everywhere, and they all get connected by all this magical stuff. You know. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Gaur Premanandi Hare.